Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. This is the 48th live chat since we started doing them on the channel, which is just absolutely insanity to me. Where has the time gone? I think we started doing them in June or July of 2021. And the fact that now it's March of 2022 is insane to me. Do me a favor, guys, if you haven't already. I've seen some of you guys already have, but make sure to like the stream. If you're watching the replay, make sure you like it as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Currently on the channel, we have 2,322 subscribers, slowly creeping up to 3,000. I have a bunch of UFC London prediction videos on the channel, and at the end of this stream, I will be releasing my Paddy Pimblett versus Rodrigo Vargas prediction video. So you guys watching the stream will be the first to see it. But I also have, let me just pull it up real quick. I have the main event, obviously, Tom Aspinall. I always do the main event, but I've just been slowly trying to do more and more prediction videos every single week. As long as the fights I feel like are notable enough to do it. But I do have the Tom Aspinall Alexander Volkov prediction out. I have a Hamzat Chimaev Gilbert Burns video, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably already seen it. It's creeping up on 2,000 views now. I released it late last night. I have an Arnold Allen versus Dan Hooker prediction on the channel. And I also have the Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Rodrigo Vargas prediction coming at the end of the stream, which is weird because it still says that it is processing. That is crazy. It's processing the 4K version. I try to do as many 4K prediction videos as I can. Any videos that aren't super time sensitive and I have the time to do them, I try to put out in 4K just for the minority that does watch content in 4K. I try to have the best picture quality on as far as MMA YouTube goes. I know some of you guys have noticed that. But anyway, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. Obviously, as always, I'm going to answer all your guys' questions. Fill up the chat with questions. I know there's a bunch of stuff going on right now. But just as far as the title of the video, I titled it Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett Altercation, UFC London. Obviously, we could talk about UFC London. I also said Volkanovski versus McGregor because Volkanovski came out recently and said that's a dream fight of his regardless of what weight class it is. And then UFC 273 as well, which is the next UFC pay-per-view, which I am super pumped for that pay-per-view. It's going to be really solid as long as it stays together. Please, fingers crossed. Please stay together, UFC 273. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that nothing out of the ordinary happens to any of those top three fights, especially. We already lost. What did we lose? We lost Chris Curtis versus Dreskis Dupliscus, and we lost Albert Duraev, I believe. He was an interesting Russian guy from the Contender Series. Has one fight after the Contender Series. This would have been his second fight. I was interested to see him fight again. Unfortunately, both those fights already got pulled from 273. I was disappointed, losing both of those. But it is what it is. At least we're not losing any of the most highly anticipated fights on the UFC 273 card. Okay. Ingrahima. Hey, hello, Joey. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me. What's up, Kevin? Hope you're doing well, my friend. What's up, French fries? What's up, constantly growing? Constantly going. I didn't mean to, I don't know why I said that wrong. Besides you, a clutch stream just got back from work not even 10 minutes ago. Perfect timing. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern. Boozy, what's up? Weird name, but what's going on, man? Thanos as your profile picture. I hope you're doing well. Am I the only one that think Volk easily beats Conor? I'm with you, but I'm a little bit worried about the size discrepancy. If Conor's really putting on all this weight and he's, walking around at supposedly like 190, I'm a little bit worried about that because Volk is kind of, known to stay in good shape and he's fighting at featherweight. So it's a little bit of a weird situation. But as far as skill-wise, Volk destroys him. But I worry, when you have a massive size discrepancy, the skills, the bigger you are, the less the skill gap matters, If you guys are the same size and one guy's a little bit bigger, he's going to have the advantage. Or, no, sorry, I said that totally wrong. If you're the same size, but one guy has more skills, obviously, most likely that guy with the more skills is going to win. But if you have the same skill set and one guy's bigger, most likely the bigger guy is going to win. And it just kind of closes that gap a little bit. You know, if you're the better grappler, but a guy has a massive size advantage on you, if he's still a decent grappler, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of guess the fight, how it might go. But I think Volk chops the legs. I think he's got a great chin. I think he's got great striking. Let me just say this. Alexander Volkanovski wrecks prime Conor McGregor at 145. You think the UFC will make the Ilia Paddy fight as the next fight if they both win, since Paddy is still new to the UFC? Part of me says yes, just because of the storyline, which would actually be really fun. I think that's a fun matchup. But the other part of me says that the UFC is probably not going to make that matchup. Ilia Topuria, in my opinion, is far superior to Paddy Pimblett. I keep wanting to say Paddy the Baddy because it just rolls off the tongue. But I don't know if the UFC wants to risk Pimblett's star power by matching him up with Ilia Topuria so early on in his UFC career. And Topuria is still early in his UFC career, but Topuria has shown he has great skills, he has great power, he has great grappling, great jiu-jitsu. I think Paddy Pimblett would have the size advantage in that fight, but I think Topuria is the far better striker and has the edge in the grappling as well. So maybe the UFC sees it on it, but I think the UFC looks at Paddy Pimblett and they see dollar signs. They say, if this guy can continue to win, we can make him a massive star. So let's give him a little bit easier matchups. You know, there's no real easy matchups, but let's kind of give him tailor-made matchups. So hopefully, while he's beating these guys, he can grow enough to the point when he finally has to fight stiff competition, he'll be able to maybe pull off the victory. Right now, it's too early to tell where Paddy's going to be as far as his career goes. But the skill set now, he's not beating elite level fighters at this point in his career. If that's what you're wondering, it's just not happening, in my opinion. Maybe I'm dead wrong. It's just he would lose to the top guys at lightweight right now. Imagine what a guy like Dustin Poirier would do to him. Imagine what a guy like Islam Makhachev would do to him. He stands no chance at this point in time. And I wish him all the best. You know, I'd like to see him succeed just because it'd be very interesting to see. You know, it's always fun when a guy looks really good and makes his way up, and now he's finally fighting elite competition, and we get to see how he's going to do. So, you know, it's always great to have an interesting personality in the sport. Will the main event, or am I the only one? Okay, read that already. Will the main event winner get Gane or Tuivasa? I don't know if they'll get either. If I had to guess, probably Tuivasa. Did you hear Greg Hardy got cut? Yeah, that's pretty much old news, but I heard that it was pretty much made official today. He doesn't belong in the UFC. All is good. Very excited for this upcoming card. I'm super excited for UFC London. You hit the nail on the head with your Gilbert Hamzat video. 3 rounds, a travesty. Yeah, and I actually got, you know, I can't remember if we were talking about this in the Discord or what we were doing, but I got a lot of hate for that video, believe it or not. I really didn't say anything controversial in that video. There is so many of the Hamzat Chimaev cult following. And don't get me wrong, I like Hamzat Chimaev just as much as the next guy. But he has a cult-like following. And people were criticizing me. How dare you want 5 rounds? Gilbert Burns isn't going to last 1 round in there with Hamzat. Dude, you're total. If anybody commented that, you are missing the point. You are missing the point. On the off chance it goes 3 rounds, we should have 2 extra rounds just in case. So, you know, I'm not going to linger too much on that just because I don't pay too much attention to the negative comments, especially when it's just not legitimate criticism. But it actually shocked me. I knew there would be someone that would say that. I even said it in the video. I said, you know, I understand that Hamzat can finish him early or Burns might finish him early, but it doesn't change the fact when you have a fight that has title implications on the line, it should be 5 rounds. There's no doubt about that. Number 1 contender fights, I don't ever want to see a 3-round number 1 contender fight. I don't care if it only lasts 1 round. We don't know that beforehand. But thank you for watching the video, constantly growing, and I appreciate you, man. Volk is actually undefeated at 155. That means anything since it wasn't in the UFC. Is actually, that means, not that that means anything. Yeah, very true. It doesn't really mean much. Mokayev versus RDA is 5 rounds, but Burns versus Chimaev is 3. Come on, UFC, you can do better. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, what the people want. Okay, that threw me off a little bit the way that was worded. But I mentioned it in the video. How are we getting Mokayev versus RDA for 5 rounds on short notice, but we're not getting, Hamzat versus Burns, which is, a big fight, and it's for a #1 contender spot. My picks, what do you think? UFC London. Tom, Hooker, Nelson, Shamil, Craig, Jai, Shore, Molly, Grundy, Corey, Wood. Why am I not seeing a Vargas or Pimblett pick in there? I disagree with you on the first 2 picks. The rest of them I like outside of Jai. I think Herbert loses to Topuria. I don't think they're bad picks, though. They're very close. Like 5 people got cut, not just Greg Hardy. Dude, that was a great video. I was at work wondering what you were going to say, and then that's how I learned it was 3 rounds. Fair enough. I appreciate you watching, man. Yeah, it was a video that I felt needed to be made, and it's something that you won't... Like I know it, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes long, and I know it's not some crazy news, but it's just one of those things I feel like should get a little bit of attention, and it's getting none. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be the guy to make the video. I'll be the guy to make the video and complain about it, Because I know there's plenty of people that think the same thing. Why isn't this 5 rounds? And it may not end up mattering, but that doesn't make the opinion any less relevant. Dude, that was okay. Read that. Your prediction on Muhammad Mokayev debut versus Cody Durden. I heard that Cody can wrestle. Cody's okay, but I haven't seen a lot of Mokayev, but I'm going Mokayev. I wish I had time to do a prediction video. I think it's probably going to be too late for that now. It's already late Wednesday. I'm probably not going to get to that one. But I think Mokayev probably smokes him. From what I've seen and what I've heard everyone else say about him, Cody Durden's kind of like your typical, like, decent, well-rounded, okay fighter. I think he probably gets pieced up on the feet. Day 4, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're not sitting on my lap. And stop commenting on every single video saying that. Every single video saying that. And if you actually even notice, I didn't do this because of you, but I liked what I saw. The camera angles actually changed a little bit right here. If you notice, you don't see the top of the curtains anymore. It's actually technically raised up and angled a little bit right now. So stop complaining. Stop commenting the same comment. I told you a week ago I would try it at some point in time. And there's no need to continue to harass somebody with something that's really kind of irrelevant. I'm always open to constructive criticism, and I'm always open to making my channel better. But when you're harassing someone over and over and over again with the same dumb comment, that's when I start to get looking into banning people. Not that you're at that point yet, but it gets annoying at some point. If Nate Edwards was 5 rounds, why wouldn't Gilbert versus Hamza? I mentioned that in the video as well. And for people saying, well, it's not a co-main event. Nate Diaz versus Leon was the featured fight on a pay-per-view behind 2 title fights, and it was still 5 rounds. How are they going to give us Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz for 5 rounds? Knowing damn well Nick Diaz was probably going to quit 1.5 rounds into it. What a terrible fight that was. I don't know if anybody really enjoyed watching that. That looked like slow motion fighting. That video did well. I know. Right now, let me go take a look at it real quick. That video did way better than I thought it was going to do, especially considering I released it late last night. Right now, it's going on about 1,600 views right now. Over 100 hours of watch time on it. Apparently, people, Hamzat Chimaev's name is very, very hot. And people care about that fight. I really care about that fight as well. What's up, Joey? I don't know if I missed it yet, but the thoughts on the Paddy Ilia situation. We've talked about it very briefly, but I'm glad you asked that question because it is in the title, and I wanted to give my thoughts about it. I know, first and foremost, I sound like I'm giving a speech, but first and foremost, I don't believe that what happened between Topuria and Pimblett is worthy of, pumping out a 20-minute video on some borderline non-altercation. It's not even, I don't even barely consider it an altercation. I know there's some MMA YouTubers out there that are really into like drama type stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm into it a little bit. Certain situations I think they're worth it. But them just essentially seeing each other at the hotel or wherever it was and throwing a couple things at each other. I know that the media in general likes to glamorize this type of stuff just because it draws attention. And then in turn, people who are running MMA YouTube channels are kind of doing the same. Somebody messaged me, say, "Hey, are you going to do a video on this?" And I said, "Nah, I'm not doing a video on that. It's not worth it. There's nothing to say about it." I mean, they got into barely an altercation. They basically saw each other in the hotel. But as the more details have come out about the situation, I have multiple thoughts. I mean, this is the perfect item that we can talk about on these live streams. This is why I love doing these live streams, because I don't think it was worth it doing a video about it and saying, "Oh, massive scuffle breaks out between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria, punches thrown," and then making some, it's just over dramatic, and it's not really what happened. People are just looking for clicks, and it actually annoys me. And I get everyone's looking for clicks. Like, I want people to watch my videos, but I want to have something that's worth watching. I don't want to sit there, and I've talked about this plenty of times. There's channels that will talk for 5, 10, 15 minutes even, and they're basically talking in circles saying nothing. I can't stand that. And that's exactly, little things like this is what I have these live streams for. So as more details have come out, I can also give you now a more full thoughts on the entire situation. So first off, number one, Paddy Pimblett tweeted some bullshit about, that's why Russia terrorizes your people, or something along those lines. And basically, there's that history there between Russia and Georgia, and or Georgia, however you pronounce it, whatever, Topuria's home country. There's that history there. Plus, on top of that, you got what's going on in Europe right now. And, I just think that's extremely distasteful. And, I think there's certain lines you don't cross. And I get it's cage fighting. I am never one of these people who hear somebody say something and I'm clutching my pearls and saying, like, I'll never forget the MMA media clutching their pearls at Khabib jumping out of the cage. We're watching cage fighting. We're watching guys try to separate each other from their consciousness. I'm not one of these people, but I think that is one of those things that you literally just don't bring up. And apparently Paddy came out and apologized for it and said, "I was unaware of what went on there." That's a flat out lie. I'll say that straight up. That's a flat out lie. You don't go that oddly specific. Well, that's why blank, blank, blank is terrorizing blank, blank, blank. And then come out and say, "Well, I'm offended because that happened, and that's really offensive. That's pretty recent history and everything going on right now. That's really not a good thing to bring up." And then, "Oh, well, I didn't know about all that. I didn't know." So first off, Paddy, if you're going to say it, stand behind it. Don't sit there and lie. Maybe say, "You know what? I said it. It was in poor taste, and I apologize for it. I should not have said it." I would respect that more than lying and say, "Well, I didn't know. I didn't know this was, distasteful thing to say." Second thing, I think Topuria is fully justified in trying to confront him because you know what? He's offended. His country was insulted. It was brought up on poor times. Poor times were brought up by him, and it probably just doesn't sit well with him. Especially when there's people over there losing their lives and stuff like that in the past. And I think Topuria is 100% within his right to try to confront him if he's seen him like he said he was going to do. Now, what I don't like is then Topuria filming it and then acting like he whooped his ass after the fact. And, he didn't explicitly say that. He didn't explicitly say that, "Oh, I whooped his ass." But the caption kind of alluded to that, "You know what? I whooped his ass and he deserved this." And that came off a little weird to me. Then also on top of that, when you have a fight coming up, I think it's a bad move to try to get into a scuffle during fight week. What if you get injured? What if you injure somebody else? It's just not smart decision making, even if you are emotional. But this may actually be, contrary to everything I just said about it not being very smart, this might be the smartest thing that Ilia Topuria has ever done. Because one thing I have not seen anybody mentioning, because people tend to forget about this, I guess. First off, Paddy Pimblett fights at lightweight. I know you guys all know that. That's not what I'm referring to. Ilia Topuria is typically a featherweight. Well, guess what he's fighting on Saturday night? He's fighting at lightweight. I don't know what the reason for it is. I don't know if he's staying at 155 or not. But now he's set up a future fight with Paddy Pimblett, which could be a massive fight. People are interested in it right now. I'm interested in it. And the last thought on the Topuria situation is, I feel like a lot of people are talking about, oh yeah, Topuria had to roll up 6-on-1. We're acting like this was premeditated, guys. Come on now. Come on now. And I get that it's just easy to say, easy to regurgitate. Well, Paddy was by himself and Topuria was with 6 people. This just randomly happened. Topuria wasn't walking around with 6 people looking for Paddy. This just happened to organically happen, at least as far as I know. And also, people have to realize those other 6 people weren't there to fight. They weren't there to beat up Paddy. They weren't there to confront Paddy. They were just there with Topuria. They probably would end up getting arrested. Imagine if they attacked Paddy, hurt Paddy for whatever reason. They'd probably end up arrested, in trouble, whatever. They're definitely not going to jump him, especially knowing the fact that they're recording it. So I don't subscribe to that people are acting like, oh, Topuria, rolled up with 7 people looking to beat up Paddy Pimblett. I just think it was one of those things where he saw him, he wanted to make a point of it. Nothing really happened. And I just, I found it quite, it's nothing that really got me super, it didn't do anything for me is what I'm trying to say here. It was one of those things that happens. It's a fight game. But, I guess I respect Topuria for confronting him and not acting fake. But at the same time, he didn't need to try to throw any strikes. At the same time, he didn't even need to, to pretend like he whooped his ass after the fact when nobody even touched each other. There's just so many complaints I have from every aspect. Paddy should have never said what he said. Ilia should have handled it a little bit better if he was going to do something like this. And then the media just latching onto it. And even people on YouTube, I was seeing videos about it in my recommended. It was like, massive scuffle between Topuria and Pimblett. Come off it, guys. Are you really, don't get me wrong, guys. I want to have a successful YouTube channel. I want to talk about MMA. I want to be able to generate clicks, which generate money for me and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I want to have something that when you guys click on it, that you guys enjoy the conversation that we have, even if it's just a regular video where you comment on it and let me know what you think. And just people making something out of nothing just pisses me off. And this goes for more than just YouTube channels. I'm talking about, MMA fighting does this type of stuff all the time. Conor McGregor will tweet out 3 words, in an emoji. And MMA fighting is doing a whole entire article on it. And they're just sharing it everywhere. So I think that's one thing that I really would like to see is people stop latching onto little things like this and pretending like it's a bigger deal than it is. It is what it is. Hopefully it sets up a future fight between the two. I would actually love to see these two fight each other. They're 2 up-and-coming prospects. They got good fight styles, exciting fight styles. And I would love to see them face off and see who could win. Let Topuria try to avenge his country. Let Paddy try to back up his mouth, So that's pretty much my thoughts of it. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I hope I didn't go too long on that, but I wanted to give you my complete thoughts on it. And now that we have all the details. Okay, let's see. UFC is coming to England later in this year, likely a Darren Till headliner. That'll be awesome. You're right about the 5 rounds. Thank you, Zachary. What if Paddy gets KO'd and his name still going to be hot? Slightly, but it is going to cool off massively. Agree, you can barely call it a scuffle. LOL, the bottle thrown and missed punch. Thought it was more funny than anything. Agreed. What do you think about Paddy's Twitter? I already said that. UFC 274 main card thoughts. UFC 274. I'm trying to remember what's on there. That's Oliveira versus Gaethje. UFC 274. Tapology. From last I remember, there needed to be some more added to it. And I think there still needs to be added at least 1 or 2 more decent fights. Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, absolutely love, can't wait. Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, love, can't wait. After that, we're just falling off a cliff. I mean, what's the next best fight on here? Randy Brown, Chaos Williams. That's not a featured fight on the main card. So 274 is not looking too sweet right now. I still like it. I'll still enjoy watching it, but it's not the greatest right now. I was a troll too, Dixie. Just sit back and enjoy the channel. This is a chill zone. Thank you, man. Thank you. I only commented twice, by the way. It wasn't every video. Okay. But telling somebody something 5 times over the course of 24 hours is a bit excessive. Facts, not getting too much done. 6v1 doesn't seem too badass. Yeah. How do you see Ilia versus Jai Herbert going? I think Ilia probably puts him to sleep, to be honest. You know, Ilia is nasty, has nasty power, has good grappling. I think he can beat him anywhere. I think he can outstrike him, but I also think that he can outgrapple him and submit him on the ground as well. I think it's Ilia's fight to lose, to be quite honest. I think he's far superior to Jai Herbert in every way. Why do they call July International Fight Week when it's in the U.S.? When it's in the U.S. I don't know. I don't know where the name actually comes from. I don't know. I guess what it is I think what they're trying to say is this event is so big that people from all over the world, from all different countries, fly to Vegas for International Fight Week. They just try to make it sound important. It did seem premeditated. He pulled out his phone and started recording Paddy before they started talking. Okay. Probably saw Paddy and told his boys to film him kicking his ass. Funny situation. Yeah, very, very dumb, honestly. We made it. What's up, Niles? If you guys have not already liked the stream, do me a favor and like the stream. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel right now. What are you doing? If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? I agree with everything you say. I was real hyped on Paddy, but that tweet was some bonehead shit. Politics aside, it's just lame. Yeah, it's just too much, you know? It's just too much. According to Ilia area interview, his camera crew is always ready to record. I'm sure they are. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to pull up a phone. Thoughts on Hooker fighting at 45? Will he look like Edson in his last fight? I don't know. You know, we're going to find out on Saturday. It's an X factor. I don't think that we really know until we see how he looks at weigh-ins. And even then, I feel like how often do we say, oh, this guy's really draining himself, you know, he's not going to have success at this weight class, and then we end up being wrong. You know, sometimes we end up right, but we say it every time somebody moves down a weight class, and then we end up being wrong half the time. Look at Jose Aldo. Look at all the shit Jose Aldo got for moving to 135, and look at the success that he's had at 135, which is just crazy. So, I'm a little bit worried about it, but I think he'll probably be okay. I worry about his chin, though. His chin already wasn't great at 155. Randy Brown versus Chaos will be nutty, though. I know, that's why I mentioned it, but still, that's not a pay-per-view level, a featured fight on pay-per-view level fight. Can't wait for this Yuri fight, man. I know, I'm so devastated. Got pushed back a month. How's Joey? I'm doing good. How are you, Ginge? Stuck arguing with this random for calling Conor a journeyman. Okay. That was a lame tweet by Paddy. I agree. I did like it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Will Blades Dawkins go to decision? Probably. Paddy said what he said on the tweet. He said he didn't know what was talking about. Dude, clearly you said the exact words. How are you going to tweet about, from my understanding, exactly what's going on there, and then saying, well, I didn't know it was going on there. It's just a dumb look. I would have had more respect again. And if it was me, I would come out and look. I said this in poor taste. You know, after reflecting on it, I realized I should not have said something like that. It's really distasteful, and I apologize to everyone for it. You know, I hate when people come out and they make an excuse and then they say, you know, then they say like a half-hearted apology. Just admit you were wrong and just say you're sorry. It's much better than that way, in my opinion. What do you think about Sean Strickland? This is a great question. Because Sean Strickland has been in the news quite a bit. So first off, everything else aside, I think Sean Strickland is a decent fighter. I think that he'll probably never be championship level as far as the elite of the middleweight division. Um, as far as the way he acts on Twitter, it's not for me. I get some people find it funny, some people find it interesting. Some people watch the sport of MMA and are more interested in personalities than actual fighting skill and fighting style. But that's not me. Now, you can mix a little bit of that in, and I enjoy it. But for me, I care about um, the way people fight and their skill level. And Strickland, I've ignored pretty much everything he said. I don't even really know much of what he said. I've seen some of it, when he really says the outlandish stuff. I don't believe, from what I've seen for the most part, that it is what it is. I think that he's saying it to garner attention, which I find a bit strange. You're that desperate for attention. You're trying to say the most outlandish things so you can garner attention for yourself. And then on top of that, you have him constantly tweeting like he's some kind of psychopath. I want to kill someone there in the cage and blah, blah, blah. And he goes out and just jabs people from the outside all day long. And he wins fights, but his fights are terrible. So he acts like a psychopath outside the cage. He's not a psychopath inside the cage. Now, as far as the most recent thing, and I think this is what you're probably asking about, and I don't know the full context of it, but from what I understand, Khalil Roundtree, I seen his post-fight interview in the cage, and basically he was talking about depression, like alluding to kind of like suicide and stuff like that. And in his post-fight interview, after the fight, which I did not see, he was kind of crying a little bit and saying, this is really important to me. He was super emotional. And Sean Strickland is quoting that and saying, calling him just different things that's just really distasteful. And not only do I think that he's doing this for attention, I think that he's trying to steal someone else's shine. And he's seen what Khalil Roundtree did on Saturday night. He got a lot of attention for it. Conor McGregor was tweeting about it. And Sean Strickland said, I want the people to talk about me. And he said, you know what? I'm going to try to steal this guy's shine by insulting him. And I think it was really distasteful, especially, again, I'm for people saying whatever they want to say for the most part. But I think there comes a point in time, especially when a guy is talking about depression, suicide, stuff like that, trying to say he wants to raise awareness for that. And I didn't see the actual post-fight interview backstage. I saw the one inside the cage. I think there's just some stuff you leave alone. And that's one of the things that he should have left alone. Now, as far as MMA discussion, Khalil Roundtree would wreck Sean Strickland. Khalil Roundtree would demolish Sean Strickland. So maybe now he set himself up for a fight. Maybe Strickland will move up to 205, put his money where his mouth is. Why not book that fight? I don't think Sean Strickland should be anywhere close to fighting for a title. Khalil Roundtree's nowhere close to fighting for a title. Let him fight it out. Let's see who's best. Khalil Roundtree is the far more exciting fighter, and I think he's the far superior fighter, even though all told he's, the bigger guy at a different weight class. But for me, there's so many layers to it. I don't necessarily like what he's saying, but forget about that. I don't like the fact that he's just trying to say outlandish things that he may or may not even believe just to grasp attention. And then on top of that, one thing that always puts me off, whether it has to do with MMA or just life in general, your day-to-day life, and I'm sure you guys deal with this type of stuff all the time, when somebody tries to steal someone else's shine, you're that desperate for attention that you have to see someone else getting attention and try to overshadow it intentionally. It's disgusting. I think it's a character flaw. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing it from so many different people. Okay. Let's continue on. I hope I'm giving you guys good answers today. I'm going on some tangents today just because there's a lot to dissect with these questions. But I hope you guys are enjoying it. His chin wasn't bad, just too many wars. Who is Sean Strickland fighting? He doesn't have a fight. Jack Shore is the dog of the night. I have a prediction video for that on the channel. Check it out. I picked Jack Shore. Sean Strickland is funny. I don't find him funny at all, but I get some people do. What's up, MMA Joey? What's going on, Keep Out? Don't think Sean has a fight right now. You would be right. Strickland is road raging and fighting pedestrians. Well, I guess if you don't want to get jabbed in the face for 25 minutes, don't cut off Sean Strickland. His next fight might be your neighbor. Strickland can be a top 5 fighter at 185, in my opinion. Fair enough. Bro has been harassing women on his motorcycle. Had to unfollow him. Yeah, I think one of these days he continues to push the envelope. One of these days he's going to cross the line, the point of no return. Do you hear some UFC fighter just got arrested? No, I did not. What's up, Merk Lee? How are you doing? Thank you for being a member. Strickland says some idiotic shit. I think the younger MMA fans think he's brilliant, but the guy is, yeah, I would agree. Sean is a beta fighter, but an alpha outside the cage. I don't know what he is. Remember 7th grade when you were cringe and you would do dumb stuff to try to be cool? Yeah, that's Sean Strickland. Exactly. Hope Sean gets knocked out soon. I think a lot of people do. Logan, that would be Christmas come early. Throw him to Costa. I would love that. I want to see him throw him to Khalil Roundtree. Book Sean Strickland versus Khalil Roundtree. Why? Why not? Neither one of them are fighting for a title anytime soon. Where was Volkanovski versus McGregor mentioned? Honestly, I think Volkanovski would get it done. Does McGregor beat anyone in the current top 10 of any weight class he's fought in? That is a great question. So, Volkanovski said that it was his dream fight to fight McGregor, and he would fight McGregor basically at any weight class. That's where that came in. We talked about it a little bit early on. I just kind of put these titles together based off of what's currently going on in MMA, the current news. But if you look at the rankings, and I can't answer it for 145. Honestly, 145, I have no idea how Conor would look at 145. If we're talking Conor looks exactly the same as he was in the old days, he beats Dan Ige. I'm not sure about Bryce Mitchell just because of the takedown threat. Giga Chikadze would be a tough fight. He probably beats Arnold Allen. He loses to Josh Emmett probably. Probably beats Calvin Kattar, but that'd be tough as well if he can't finish him. Loses to Chan Sung Jong. Loses to Yair. Maybe beats Ortega. Definitely doesn't beat Max and definitely doesn't beat Volkanovski. But that's going off prime Conor. I don't know. I don't know as far as, how is he going to look? I'm imagining he's going to be diminished. As far as lightweight, in the top 10 right now, you have Dan Hooker. I think Dan Hooker is beatable. I think Tony Ferguson for Conor is beatable. But I would favor Tony Ferguson. I would not favor Dan Hooker. Outside of that, I think he loses to everyone else. His next best chance would probably be Michael Chandler and then Beneil Dariush. But I don't favor him in any of those. He's not winning a single fight at 170. He's not winning a single fight at 170. But I don't know. Volkanovski was kind of fantasizing about going up and fighting Conor McGregor. And that was really where that talk came from. I really have no desire to see that. Conor McGregor is on a losing streak. He's out of his prime. I think Volkanovski's just looking towards the future. And, if I continue to win, I want a big, big money fight, and I'll fight Conor. The former king of my weight class. Hey, Joey, I know trash talk is part of the game, but don't you think there should be a limit to it? I think the UFC should do something about the Pimblett case. There should definitely be a limit to it, for sure. And I think that the UFC kind of picks and chooses what they do. They try to act like, oh, we're not doing anything. We don't do nothing. We don't penalize anyone. But then if it really comes to someone that doesn't matter as much, they're willing to step up and do it. There's going to come a time where they have to, eventually, with something. I don't know what the answer, though, is. Because the UFC, what are they going to do? Pull Paddy from the fight? That's only hurting the UFC. I mean, it's hurting Paddy, too, but it's hurting the UFC. So for them to punish him, it's a conflict of interest for them. But I agree. Topuria moving to 155. Thoughts? He has moved to 155. He's fighting this weekend at 155. I don't know if that's what you meant or didn't mean, but I'm just letting you know just in case. I don't know. I really liked him at 145. I think he's going to be undersized for the weight class. Conor would have to cut off his right leg to make featherweight now, probably. Muffle Max with the laughing emoji. I don't know what that one's about. I seen you put one before too. I went back to see Poirier versus Hooker after your latest prediction video, and that fight was crazy. I told you, Mario. Did I lie to you? Did I lie? That's one of those hidden gems. For whatever reason, it doesn't get talked about much, but that was a wild fight. That was an insane fight. I mean, I love that fight. That was crazy. It was crazy. Back and forth. Dan Hooker almost stopped him, hurt him badly multiple times. I'm glad you went back and watched it, and you can confirm what I thought already, that it was amazing. Song Yadong called out Dominic Cruz. I hate when young fighters call out old fighters. I'm with you on that one. I would have rather him called out Sean O'Malley. Dana plans win or lose. Conor fight for the 145 belt, 155 belt, 170 belt, then Jake versus Conor. Could you imagine? Imagine if he walked into a 170 title shot. I couldn't imagine. I get it. McGregor sells great, but he deserves F all. Exactly. I'm tired of the Dana White privilege. I am so tired of the Dana White privilege for Conor McGregor. He doesn't deserve anything right now. I get that he's a big star, but there's plenty of big fights for him outside of title fights. We don't need to see him fight for a title right now. I think they're gonna end up making Conor versus Nate Diaz 3. I think that's what's gonna end up happening. If I'm honest with you guys, if that fight doesn't happen, it's going to be, it's definitely going to be a title shot, and it's going to make me sick. It's going to make me quite sick. Hold on. Let me see this video. My video that I uploaded last night is still processing the 4K version. I'm going to release it at the end of this stream. Paddy Pimblett versus Rodrigo Vargas. Okay. Do you ever go back and watch old school UFC 1993 to 2005? I have not. I've seen some of those fights, but not anytime recently. Did you see Dana White was on Logan Paul's podcast? Yes, I did. I did not see much of it, though. I seen like a couple clips. No matter how tired of it we get, we still watch. It's like a car crash. You can't help but watch. Okay? Do you think Dustin would have finished Conor if Conor didn't break his leg? Yes. I had saw enough. It was a foregone conclusion. Conor was getting finished in that fight. And people make excuses. Oh, well, Conor broke his leg and blah, blah, blah. Well, just exclude 264 and go at the last time they fought. He fought him 6 months beforehand and brutally slept him. So, people making excuses. Oh, he broke his leg. And I mean, he got dominated for that entire round up until that point. It gave Conor an out because he would have got finished either early second round or maybe even at the end of that first round regardless. So it's just a crutch, for lack of a better word, for McGregor and McGregor's fans' delusions to pretend had he won that fight otherwise. Who does Usman fight if he loses the belt to Leon? Does Hamzat fight Leon if he wins against Burns? Depends how he loses, but I could see them doing Usman versus maybe Colby 3 for the title shot against the winner of Leon versus Hamzat, or they might just have Usman wait and see who wins and then give him a rematch. Nate is going to beat Conor. I would pick Nate as well. Conor versus Nate is past due. They're definitely making the Nate fight Conor. That's why Dana won't give him a fight. Also, you have the Luque versus Bilal fight. He could fight too. That's if he doesn't get an immediate rematch. You think Michael Chandler has some of the worst fight IQ? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the fact that he doesn't have the fight IQ or he just actively abandons it. But either way, it's all the same. So, yeah, I guess so. I mean, the guy has great wrestling, has good, decent stamina, but he just drains it immediately. I think he's a guy that, and it's for, I guess it's for us fans, he favors putting on a performance rather than conserving his gas tank. So, the answer is yes, he has terrible fight IQ. Back, I'm happy to have you back, French Fries. How is Colombo? He is doing well. I'll see if I can show you. I got a picture. I took a picture of him today. Let me show you what it's looking like. What he's looking like. How big he is. It's kind of hard to see a little bit, but this is just him sideways. You can see real quick how big he's gotten. if it focuses ever. There you go. You can see him next to a fence. You can see how big he's gotten. That's just insane to me. Was sad to see Tony versus Chandler book. Tony should fight some slightly lower competition now, in my opinion. I would have liked that too, but I think he beats Chandler anyway. So, thank you, Ginge. You like the stream, guys. If it was ex-fighter Cody East heavyweight, charges against his wife and kid, not letting them out of the car and pushed the wife. He got same charges like this years ago. Okay, fair enough. Why is it taking UFC so long to book Poirier versus Diaz? Apparently they're holding out and hoping to to book that Diaz Conor McGregor fight. Assault the like button, yes. Punch the like button right now. I don't even think it's bad fight IQ. I just think he doesn't care. That's what. Yep. I'm not a fan. Logan is athletic and strong enough to fight MMA. I thought it was a cow before it focused. Cute doggo. It's a Cane Corso. Yep. Appreciate it, Vince. That's fun. Tony is washed, bro. Absolutely not, Anthony. Absolutely not. But if it isn't 5 rounds, I have my reservations about that prediction. I hope that it's 5 rounds. And if it's not, somebody needs to fire Tony Ferguson's manager. It needs to be 5 rounds. It has to be. Otherwise, I'm going to be really annoyed that it's not 5 rounds. But we'll see. I think it's going to end up being, I think it's probably going to end up being 3 rounds just because we haven't seen it specified anywhere. Guys, keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. Guys, by the way, if you want to discuss MMA every single day, we have about 25 people in the members-only Discord chat. You get extra benefits on top of the Discord, including extra live stream replays. You get badges next to your name, as well as custom emojis to use in the chat, as well as the comments. But the main benefit is joining the members Discord. We talk in there every single day. There's about, I think, 25 of us or so in there. The link is down in the description, but I also just posted it in the chat if anyone wants to sign up. It's a great way to support the channel. Eventually, I'm going to do members-only live streams as well. Right now, I have members live stream, like replays only when I do extra live streams throughout the week. Whoever's not there live, unless you're a member, you can't watch the replay. So I started adding that. So it's $3 a month. If you join for 1 month, you will always be a part of the Discord, unless you were to do something crazy. Shout out Danny Hamilton. Okay. Who would you like to see RDA fight next? Rafael Fiziev. Rafael versus Rafael. That's the fight that I want to see. Did you watch CM Punk's second UFC fight? Yes, it was terrible. I've been hearing it's 3. Yeah. I haven't seen anybody specifically say. RDA should still fight Fiziev. I agree. Shout out Danny Hamilton. Tony doesn't seem to take easier fights at all. He's seriously a crazy fighter. What do you think? He's definitely a maniac. Tony Ferguson is of a different mindset for sure. What do you think Islam needs to do to earn a title shot? In my opinion, beating Bobby Green doesn't do it despite the streak. I say give him RDA or someone else for the title. For me, I think he's already earned a shot. I know the streak isn't that great, but it's not really his fault. And there's nobody else within the division. That has earned a shot. You look, Justin Gaethje's already getting a shot. Dustin Poirier just lost. Then you have Islam Makhachev. Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is injured. Supposedly, if he can come back sooner, then book Islam Makhachev versus Beneil Dariush. Winner gets the next shot of the winner of Oliveira versus Gaethje. Other than that, outside of Islam versus Dariush, Islam deserves the next shot. I would prefer to see Makhachev versus Dariush finally, and then the winner fights for the belt, but we don't know what kind of timetable we are on there. Dos Anjos would be the next best option. I don't want to see him fight Tony Ferguson. I don't want to see him fight Gregor Gillespie. I wouldn't mind seeing him versus Arman Tsarukyan again, just because that was so long ago, or Gregor Gillespie, but not necessarily. I don't really want to see him against Gregor Gillespie. So basically, He either fights Beneil Dariush to earn a shot, or he already gets the shot by default. Only $2.99 a month. I'm going to ask my dad for his credit card right now. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but yep. And we talk in the members only Discord every single day. And you guys know when I'm doing extra live streams as well, because I let you know in the Discord. It's crazy. I've already close to 24 hours on the new WWE game. I think it came out Friday. That is insane. Is it that much fun? What did they change about it? What did they change about it? I haven't played it in years, so I don't even know what changes there would have been. Tony Ferguson is what Sean Strickland wishes he was. Agreed. Islam should fight Beneil in maybe June, and then they can do Islam versus Oliveira in like November, December. I agree. If that timing works out, I would love that. Or even book Islam versus Beneil on the May card on Oliveira versus Gaethje, and then set that fight up perfectly. After the Santos loss, what's next for him? Thiago Santos. I think it's probably going to be, I say Dominic Reyes, honestly. Sorry, Dominic Reyes, but it makes sense. Arnold Allen is going to show there's levels. Fair enough. I love Tony Ferguson. I like Tony Ferguson quite a bit. I mean, he's always putting on great performances, honestly. I know his last 3 fights have been terrible, but my point is when he does, no matter, what fight he's in, he's always just pressing forward, looking for finishes. Okay, Joey, can you do a poll on Paddy versus Topuria? Fair enough. Only for you, Ginge. Who wins? Here we go. Why do I always have typos here? Okay, there we go. Poll is up. No sarcasm. I'm 18. Fair enough. Appreciate the support. Unfortunately, I agree. Anthony loved Dan, but what a tough fight for him. Yeah, I think it's a tough fight for him as well. It's just way less glitchy from previous years, and career mode is super fun. Fair enough. I've never been a big career mode guy in any game, really. I'm always an online guy. I used to play online Madden quite a bit. I used to play a lot of online Call of Duty. I used to play online GTA. It's crazy. No matter what card, it's always amazing. Okay. Do a video showing your MMA memorabilia. Consider it done, Merkley. I will get to that. I promise. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. I will show it all. I'll just film it on my phone probably because my camera's on a tripod right there and the lighting might not be right. So I'll just record it on my phone. It'll still be decent quality. And I'll post it on the members only tab. I'll try to do it by the end of this week. Thanks, buddy. No problem. I'd go Ilia Topuria. I worry about the size difference, but I think Topuria has nasty power. And I think he could out-grapple Paddy as well. I think he would out-grapple Paddy. Let me, you know what I meant to do? Let me pull something up real quick. Hopefully this is muted. I don't want this playing. Okay. Damn, my computer's actually really, really hot right now. I don't know why. I meant to. By the way, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter as well as Instagram at MMAJoeyC. I try to tweet. I've been trying to tweet there more often. I usually tweet out my videos on there. And I would appreciate it if you did. I'm actually going to tweet out right now. I've meant to tweet out my live stream. And I'm going to go do it right now, even though I'm an hour late. There we go. I tweeted it out. So go follow me on Twitter. Go follow me on Instagram. And we can discuss things on there as well. I try to tweet during the fight nights that I'm not live streaming. You play UFC 4? No, I do not. Smith versus Ankalive, who would win? I would probably pick Ankalive. I just think Ankalive is not going to fall into those same mistakes that a lot of people that Anthony Smith fights end up doing by gassing out in the later rounds. After seeing Topuria KO Ryan Hall, I became a fan. Hall rolls against his opponents like he's fighting a Dark Souls boss. Who would you like to see Ryan Hall fight next? I don't know. Doesn't he have a fight, honestly? I think he has a fight. I know he just won a fight like a month or two, maybe 2-3 months ago. He beat Derek Minner at UFC 269 in December. Let's see. Does he have a fight? He doesn't have a fight. Holy moly. That's featherweight. Let's look up UFC world rank, or no, MMA world rankings, so I can get people outside of the top 15. I think I answered this question before, but I can't remember who I would like to see him fight. Let's see. Ryan Hall, where are you? I wouldn't mind seeing him fight like Andre Feely. Or maybe like a Cub Swanson. I doubt that's going to happen, though. Or Hakeem Dawodu would be fun. Lando Venata would be fun. Coming off that win over Mike Grundy. Or, never mind, he has a fight coming up. LaRon Murphy. So, there's a lot of great options for him. I'd like to see him. If I had to pick one, I'd say Andre Feely. Andre Feely. Book him against Andre Feely. Why the UFC scheduling has been in favor of Tony Ferguson? What does that mean? What does that mean? He has an elbow injury right now, supposed to compete in ADCC in September. Well, fair enough. I didn't know he had an injury. Hey, Joey. Hey, what's up, Homework? Hope you're doing well. Where you been for the last hour, man? What's going on? Where the heck have you been? He recently had a funny beef with Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan. I love watching Ryan Hall fights. It's always fun to watch those specialists, the guys that just want to roll for submissions nonstop. Why have the UFC never been in favor of Tony Ferguson? I guess when you get to the top, man, it's hard to get fights that you're in favor of. It's one of those things where, you're at the top, and I get they do favorable matchmaking for some guys. But Tony's one of the best, and they were trying to match him up as such. And, trying to make big fights, I guess. I mean, they were all fights I thought he could have beat. I picked him to lose to Gaethje. I picked him to lose to Oliveira, and I picked him to beat Beneil Dariush. So, a lot of those fights I thought were winnable for him. Why the UFC scheduling has never been in favor of Tony Ferguson. Okay, you read that? Paddy leaves his chin too open and high up. What do you think? Is that a problem in the UFC with fighters? What do you think is that problem in UFC with all those tough fighters? I don't know what that second question is, but yes, it's a problem. Yes, it's a problem. He's got to tuck the chin or he's going to get clipped badly. Do you think once a fighter retires, they should be done fighting for real, for real? I mean, I guess it's up to them. Hey, I'm late. Who do you think would win, Topuria or Pimblett? I would go Topuria. I think Topuria just is better overall. And Paddy, we only seen him in the UFC in one performance, against a guy who's not even that great. And he almost, he got clipped pretty bad. I'm not going to say he almost got finished because he didn't get almost finished. But it wasn't the best performance. He was very hittable, and I think Topuria has far more power than Luigi Vendramini. A fight that Paddy's supposed to win. He's supposed to win that fight. That fight was scheduled for him to win. And this fight's scheduled for him to win coming up. Now, will he? Will he be dethroned? Is he such a big hype job that he's going to be dethroned? I don't know. So, I got a million tabs open. Let me exit them out. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that. And don't forget, guys, in a few minutes when I end this live stream, we'll see how long we go. I don't know if I'm going to end it necessarily in a few minutes. We're not even at the hour mark. The stream's been on for 1 hour, Violet Turner. I don't know where you've been. But when I end this stream, I'm going to give you guys the unlisted link for Paddy Pimblett, Rodrigo Vargas. You will be the first people to see the prediction video. I will give you the link to it right at the end of the stream so you guys can check it out after this. And then I'll be releasing it right thereafter. It's already ready. It's uploaded to YouTube. I uploaded it last night. And it's all ready to go. I just got to release it. At what point do you think a ref should call a fight or the coaches throwing in the towel? Thinking about RDA versus Moicano. When the fighter is taking a lot of damage and there's basically no way they're going to come back. I think, there's a point in every fight that's like that where you can say, okay, we know what's going on here. We've seen enough. We know who's the better fighter. Why wait and let him get so much damage just hoping for a Hail Mary KO? I just don't think that's something you really should be doing. There's too much damage. Fighters taking too much damage unnecessarily. There's no reason for it. The Moicano fight was a travesty. Should have been stopped much sooner. Totally unnecessary and quite frankly, super annoying. The corner failed him. The ref failed him. The doctor failed him. Hell, the crowd failed him. The crowd should have swarmed the cage. The UFC failed him. They should have never made it 5 rounds. There's no reason a guy stepping in on a week's notice should be fighting in a 5-round fight unless he's completely ready and it's a title fight and it has to be 5 rounds. Outside of that, there's no reason that it should have been. I got Paddy by finish against Vargas. People are going to hate on Paddy for this attitude, but getting clipped last time. But dude is good. I really can't decide between Krylov and Craig. I'm probably going Paul Craig in that one. Paul Craig finds a way to get wins sometimes. He has a win over Magomed Ankalive. Last second Hail Mary submission. Win by Paul Craig. Paul Craig gets it done. Look, he just beat Jamal Hill just last year. It doesn't even seem that long ago that he beat Jamal Hill. That was filthy. It was basically a TKO stoppage combined with like a triangle stoppage at the same time. And the referee was terrible in that fight too. Yeah, Paul Craig probably has the best submissions in light heavyweight for sure. I'm mad we never got him versus Gustafsson. We were supposed to get Paul Craig versus Alexander Gustafsson, and we never got it. Paddy and Topuria both win and maybe build up the beef a little longer. If they both win on this card, the UFC better match them up, but I don't think they will. I don't think they want to risk losing Paddy Pimblett, derailing the hype train to a guy as good as Topuria, in my humble opinion. I think Topuria, the UFC knows how good Topuria is, and they say, you know what? We don't necessarily want to see him get demolished. But not that I'm saying he definitely would, but there's other more favorable matchups for him. And it looks like 65% is taking Ilia Topuria over Paddy Pimblett. 67%. Nathaniel Wood versus Vince Morales is off. I would have pulled out 2 then picks dropped of Nathaniel. Have you seen the pick? I have not seen the pick. What's the pick that I'm missing here? That sucks though. People were looking forward to that fight. What picks came out? It doesn't show it's canceled on Tapology yet. It must have just broke. Muhammad Mokayev versus Cody Durden is the first fight on the card. Damn, Tapology 90% is picking Mokayev. Greg Hardy just signed with Burger King. Ref let Jamal Hill broken arm flop around while he got elbowed in the head for 20 seconds before he stopped it. It was disturbing. That was a terrible display of reffing ability. Greg, okay, what happened to Wood? I don't know. Do you think Gunnar will look good in his return? Probably. I mean, he's going to beat this guy. This guy's brought in for Gunnar Nelson to look good. Takashi Sato's coming off a loss to Miguel Baeza via arm triangle, but Baeza's by nowhere near the submission threat that Gunnar Nelson is. Takashi Sato is a guy that's literally there to lose to guys via submission. I mean, you look at his last 3 losses, all by submission. Miguel Baeza, arm triangle. Bilal Muhammad, rear naked choke. Guy I don't even know whose name is, sleeper choke, whatever that is. Pretty much all his losses are by submission. So, yeah, Gunnar Nelson's going to submit him. I mean, that's pretty much an easy bet. Craig does have 12 finishes by submission. Wood was looking shredded. I'll have to look that up. No, Wood didn't. Morales did for health reasons. I would have pulled out. Vince is shredded. Okay. So Wood posted a picture and he was looking shredded. Fair enough. No, wait. What's the first fight on the card now? Why would it be Mokayev if he was 4th fight on the card? From what I just saw on Tapology, let me double check UFC.com. Let me reference it with UFC.com. They constantly change it around. It annoys the hell out of me. The first prelim is Muhammad Mokayev versus Cody Durden. It's crazy. The prelims are solid. Jack Shore versus Timur Valiev on the prelims. Nikita Krylov, Paul Craig on the prelims. Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Sergey Pavlovich deserves to be on the prelims. Mike Grundy and Makwan Amirkhani deserves to be on the prelims, but still a solid fight. I mean, I know why Molly McCann is on the main card, but this is a solid card though for sure. I can't wait to see Topuria. I'm so happy that Topuria is finally returning. He was supposed to fight Mozar Evelev, and then he was supposed to fight Charles Jourdain, and then the fight got canceled. Will O'Malley call out Canetti, guy who just beat Montini? No, he will not. Yeah, the UFC is constantly changing around the cards. Constantly. So 68% is taking Ilia Topuria over Paddy Pimblett. Best card this year, in my opinion, on paper anyway. What? This fight night card? Is that what you're saying? Best fight night. Not best pay-per-view, though, right? I guess the pay-per-views have kind of been terrible. But still, yeah, the pay-per-views have kind of been bad. I would say it's up there. It's up there. Last week's fight night card was probably better, though. But this is a solid card. They're building it because they're in London. I'm sad you're not going, Ginge. I wish you were going, my friend. I wish you were going. All right, guys. I'm going to get ready and end this stream. Who's the ref during that Craig Hill fight? Herb Dean or Keith Peterson? I don't remember. I don't think it was either one of those. Before I go, I'm going to bless you guys with my Paddy Pimblett Rodrigo Vargas prediction video. Nobody has seen it yet. It's unlisted right now. I'm going to give you guys the link to go watch it. I would greatly appreciate it if you immediately went and watched it and liked the video and commented on it. Let me know you went there. You are going to be one of the very few. You guys are going to be the few of the 25 in here that are going to be able to see this video first before it's even released. Consider it an honor. And help run up the likes on it immediately. I want to, as soon as I end this stream, I want to click off of it and I want to see a bunch of likes on that video. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to post a link in the chat right now, and I want you guys to go check it out in a second when I end this stream. There you guys go. Paddy Pimblett, Rodrigo Vargas. If you want to be the first to like it and comment on it, go comment on it right now. Help it boost it in the algorithm. I'm going to release it here in a minute, but you guys are getting it early. So I want to thank you guys all for joining me for the live stream. I might stream again on Friday. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, I will be back on Saturday for UFC London. I will be live streaming. Thank you guys all for joining me. We went about an hour and 10 minutes today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this stream before you go and watch the Paddy Pimblett video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Go watch that Paddy Pimblett video right now. Like it, comment on it, help boost it in the algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. And I guess that's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.